I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
You sound so somber, Steve.
Well, I think we're here to commemorate. This is kind of a wake.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the death.
Recognizing and celebrating the life and the passing of a loved one that's been with us for many years now.
Yeah. This introduced us to,
in a way, it was partly the inspiration for us starting this show. We are, of course, talking about the death of the praise and worship rig as a concept, as a stereotype, maybe. I don't know.
I think the stereotype will persist in the same way that people still think MSG will kill you.
Oh, sure. I think that's what got me thinking about this. I was a
You were
guest.
eating Chinese food?
No, I was not eating. No, the idea that the stereotype will persist, even though the reality doesn't exist anymore. I was a guest on man, I can't remember the name of the show now.
Wow, you were a guest on the Effects Loop.
The Effects Loop. I kept thinking the Practical Guitarist was like, that wasn't it.
That's awkward.
That is Jim and David's show. Yes, I was on the Effects Loop, and Diaz made a comment about typical praise and worship rigs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that's true anymore. And it got me thinking about it. I think the praise and worship, like stereotypical rig, is going away. I don't think it. I think sure. There's probably still people who are doing that, but I mean, I still spend a decent amount of time, in and around praise and worship stuff. You still play at church.
Yeah.
We're still on the groups and stuff like that. And I'm not seeing it. Like the stereotype is a white Falcon, the trifecta of Strymon pedals, some sort of big loop switcher, a Klon or two, a matching pair of Eventide H9s, and then fill in the cracks with just nothing but JHS. Like that is the stereotype.
Oh my gosh. Well, and so some of that is, and
then some sort of like boutique take on a Vox circuit. So like a matchless chieftain or something like that.
I think some of that is that there hasn't been, so there's a few different things. One is, first of all, I want to congratulate myself for getting the most listens on a single episode in Effects Loop history. I did hear that announced on this recent episode.
Wow.
And I would like to go ahead and preliminarily...
Well, the numbers aren't in from my episode yet.
I was going to say, I'd like to go ahead and preliminarily congratulate you because I assume you will surpass me.
I haven't done any of my own promotion of that. I just realized today that it launched. So I'll do some promotion and see if I can beat you.
You have to... Yeah, anyway, it's a number. I'll say my episode increased their listenership by like a solid 20%, I think.
It's a good show and people should listen. They cover, the news of what's going on in guitar stuff.
So here's what I would say to start off.
They keep you in the loop.
They do of the music, guitar, news, culture stuff. That was a sick song.
That was a professional delivery of their catchphrase, of their tagline.
Who 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 7 years ago, would you say was like the hot praise and worship guitarist?
Lincoln Brewster?
Oh, Lincoln Brewster, not who I was thinking. Who is the hot praise and worship hipster guitarist? I'm thinking of a specific person who who this person is. I think you've met this person.
Okay.
You've certainly been in a lot of gear groups with this person, some which were very small.
Are you talking about James Duke?
James Duke.
Yeah.
Who is the...
I've had conversations with James.
Yeah. No. Who is the 2021 James Duke?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
It's been years since there's been like a hot name and like as far as I've been able to track of like, oh, hey, here's the hot name in worship guitars and everyone is trying to replicate his rig.
Yeah. So I know James Duke as the guitar player for John Mark McMillan. And I think he was maybe associated with Elevation Church. or Passion, one of those churches. And then I associate him with Elliott guitars.
Right.
Those are the three things.
I just associate him with being a cool dude on the internet.
There you go.
Hey, James, if you're watching.
The 2021 version of that, I think, is, and this is going to go into why I think I agree. P-Dubs is dead. We said we weren't going to talk about P.
Well, it's not dead.
This episode.
Piss Dubs? Or we're talking about
Piss Dubs.
Piss and worship?
Yeah. Piss Dubs is like.
I want to be very clear. I'm sure I came up with some sort of clickbait title for this episode.
Yeah,
I want to be very clear.
Is P-Dubs dead?
I don't think praise and worship as something that is done at churches is dead at all. I think it's going to go on for a really long time in various forms. It's going to get reinvented like any other, like live music genre that happens. But I think this very specific niche that was pretty red hot when we started the podcast.
Yeah.
Has completely cooled off as far as being a stereotype. Like, here is a definite praise and worship rig. Mm-hmm. And I think what has happened is, the gear that praise and worship guys and gals have been into has been adopted by everyone else who's been like, you know what? Yeah, those are good reverbs. You know what? I do want a programmable delay. You know what? I do want, this or that. So it's kind of like traveled out of there a little bit. And I think the praise and worship scene has contracted a bit and be like, you know what? We don't want to have all the same rig. We want to experiment and we want to try stuff from outside what we're doing. I don't know.
So it's funny as I looked up James Duke pedalboard and I get a lot of like the different things from different eras. The Stereo Memory Man is on here. Or the Deluxe Memory Man tap tempo and the Boss Giga Delay, JHS Morning Glory. These are all kind of like popular, the Giga Delay being the DD20.
But a lot of those things, it's like anyone could own those.
Right. But, so here's a newer one. It's got, I don't know when this is from. It's got a tube screamer. I think this is the Chase Bliss Benson Mark II. Preamp Mark II, a red knob tonal recall, and actually 3 Boss pedals, interestingly enough.
It looked like one of them was a flanger too. I saw some purple.
Yeah. So there's some different things on here. There's one where he's got the Strymon. Is it the Volante, the gold one?
Yeah, the delay.
So the question I asked earlier is 2021. Who's the 2021 version of James Duke? Because I do feel like he's not as popular. It doesn't mean he's like gotten worse at guitar.
He's still valid as a person. He's still out there doing his thing, I'm sure. But you know what we mean. We're not saying he doesn't exist anymore. We're saying like he's not the buzzword right now. So I can't tell you what the buzzword is.
I'm gonna say it's David Hislop. I think it's how you pronounce his name. I don't know. I see him in a ton of groups. He's very active. And what I feel like he's most known for is, you got any ideas?
I don't.
He's a patch guy.
Oh, okay.
A new song comes out. I think he's affiliated with Bethel.
All right.
So when a new Bethel song comes out, everyone sits around and says, "Hey, just heard the new Bethel as it has David Hislop released his patch for that."
Is this like one of these names where once I see it spelled out, I'll be like, "Oh, that guy." I've just never heard it said out loud.
I mean, maybe. But he's a patch guy. Again, not making any commentary.
A regular Patch Adams over here.
Yeah.
There's really no connection other than Patch in the name.
No.
I'm not sure. I've seen him
He's
around.
active on it. Oh, yeah. He's a guitarist at Bethel Music. So, and when you go down his thing, Fractal FM9 custom layouts, sale on a bunch of different things. IR packs. He does IR packs. He's got like an IR of a Vox, I guess, that he really likes. He's got some more FM9 stuff. I know he was, HX Stomp all-in rig, as an all-in rig, HX Stomp video.
Well, remember when like that whole scene, all the groups, like it was like this year-long purge of people just going like, you know what? I went Helix.
Yeah, and
I just sold everything and I went Helix. And for like a full year, like everyone was making that move of like, I'm tired of doing this dance of constantly buying and selling and like trying to figure out the wiring of my pedal board. And so many praise and worship guitars just went full Helix. Yep. And then I think they've worked back and they've gone back and forth. I think it's just like there was an initial gear movement.
Still not sure about that.
Thanks, Siri.
Weird.
There was this initial gear movement and then there was like a backlash.
Right.
And then there was a pushback, and then it just kind of muddled. And it's just like, before it was a wave, it was a crashing wave coming in from the ocean, and now it's like a calm pond where there's people are kind of doing their own things, and they're not getting caught up in a big trend anymore.
I think for the most part, we've gone from giant pedal boards and, like you said, like amps, matchless, Vox, whatever, and a lot of that stuff has been replaced by either Helix or HX Stomp, or
also, I think
pick your thing.
Maybe like when that scene was really blowing up and getting red hot, like there were a lot of young people in it. And they were, exploring their rigs for the first time. Maybe it was the first time they were coming of age, young 20s, getting out of college. They had money in their pocket. They were exploring gear that they really wanted to try. First time in their life they had, money to spend. I think we can both agree that we've been in some side subgroups where a big topic was people being, oh, I'm so single. And then years later, oh, I'm so married now. They were in that perfect point of, single income, no kids, no partner. And what do you spend your money on? You spend it on gear. And then, this group of people, this clique, this scene of people all get married around the same time as people do in their mid 20s to mid 30s, and that kind of budget disappears. Right. You're not buying $400 delay pedals anymore when you have kids. You're just not.
Yeah, I think the monolith is gone. And so the interesting thing is I think the giant pedal board means you're either playing shoegaze or church music. It still persists in a lot of groups, but in reality, I think
it's fair. It's a fair criticism.
Well, I think it's a fair criticism from 5 years ago. I think you can still consider it a fair criticism, but I think the flashiness of it, the number of times I've seen a large pedal board get posted, again, a few years ago, a large pedal board would get posted and someone would say like, oh, that's a $5,000 board. I can do it all with my Helix. And it was kind of like a badge of honor.
Right.
And the number of people now who are running like an HX Stomp or a
hybrid setup,
some kind of, or a hybrid setup where like I kind of run a hybrid setup where I run a pedal board into an HX Stomp. Because I like pedals.
Yeah.
Like it's all over the map, but people are just doing, I think
pedals are fun, but modelers are fun too.
I think there's more of a return to people trying to do what works and is simple. And I think some of that too is also,
but you still see people kind of like scratching a little bit of a decadent itch here and there.
Yeah.
Like they'll have their board and be like, here's my mostly practical board. Like I've matured. I figured out I don't need so much of the stuff that I used to have, but man, I still really wanted to try that one thing that's that $300 thing. And I'm trying it out. I like it.
Yeah. But I think you have that, but most people who are doing that are doing it. And then they are kind of, maybe that's the one. I mean, I don't know. It's not like people's boards have gotten cheaper.
I don't think so. But you start with an initial investment, and then it becomes a trading game where you're making
I think
lateral adjustments. You're selling something, buying something.
I think what's happened more is that people who, the same people who got to a point where they were like, "Oh man, I need a solution. I need a solution because I can't haul this AC30, this hot rod.
Oh my gosh,
hot rod deluxe, this Fender Twin, whatever anymore. All these 50, 60, 70 pound amps.
Also, like
church,
a lot of churches really invested in their sound systems.
Yeah, no, that's true too.
It used to be like you would need to haul an amp. And then, like, everyone hauling their amps to church caused churches to build isolation boxes and stuff. Yeah. And remember, like, everyone would post, I'm running my amp in the green room, and we have a mic back there, so we have 40 feet of cable. And
I think even with the ISO boxes, then people were leaving their amps at church. They needed an at-home solution, so they got, a Podgo or whatever, so they could practice at home. And then they realized, well, I'm getting most of what I want out of this, so I can sell the amp. Because again, it was too heavy to transport in the first place. And so they did like a large hybrid system where they took their large pedal board and then they ran that into their HX Stomp and using just the HX Stomp as an amp and cab deal with, maybe a compressor. Again, like we talked about recently, that's how I use the HX Stomp. And I think eventually those people were like, I have a unit that weighs like 3 pounds that does 90% of the things I do and will do 90% of the things that my pedal board does.
Yeah. I've been thinking about going to a smaller pedal board.
And my pedal board, maybe weighs, if you figure each pedal weighs 10 ounces and you've got 8 pedals, so that's 80 ounces. So that's a good 7-8 pounds.
Oh man, they get heavy fast.
6-7 pounds plus the weight of the board, which is maybe another 3-4 pounds.
You throw a heavy power supply in there to power all your high voltage stuff.
Maybe this is a 10 to 15 pound thing, which isn't. When I spell it out like that, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still one more thing.
My salvage board is right there. You pick it up and tell me.
Your salvage board's stupid.
It's too big. I've been thinking about downsizing because it is too much.
Yeah, I can't pick it up without standing up. And
right.
I don't feel like standing up.
I think what's going on is we're all getting older and maturing. I'm sure there are young guys coming into the praise and worship scene too, or young gals, of course.
But I think they're seeing what's already out there and going wow, everybody else is just doing this with the HX Stomp and maybe their favorite overdrive.
There's 2 other electric guitarists at my church. None of them have anything approaching the stereotype of a praise and worship board. And there was other electric guitarist at my church that left a while ago. They moved, who would have been a prime candidate to have the full praise and worship board. They had a big pedal train, but they never filled it up, and they didn't have the full blown praise and worship stereotype sort of thing. My board is probably the closest I've seen in real life in person from people that I've actually played with and know that actually fit the stereotypes. Well, people tell me oh, you're playing at church. That's not a stereotypical praise and worship board because I don't have the trifecta of Strymons on there.
Keep talking over each other. Clearly, we need a click track.
We need the click track back. It was so good, right?
No, I do think that there are. It's funny. It seems like every time you post a picture of your pedal board, there's at least one person who comments, "Tell us you play P-dubs without telling us you play P-dubs." And it's funny because it is this, but it's because you have a lot of pedals on it and you're posting it on a Sunday morning, you fit the stereotype, but then you look at your pedal selection and you're like,
right,
there's 5 fuzzes on here. Your pedal,
people are always like, what are you using that HM2 for?
Yeah, there's 10 pedals. No, there's 12 pedals. There's 5 fuzzes, 3 metal distortions, and 1 delay and 3 reverbs.
A reverb that's this big, but not because it's a computer, because it's actual springs.
Yeah. So, but no, I agree. And I've been noticing that between when I got kicked out of Gear Talk Praise and Worship.
Did you get kicked out?
I think earlier this year or later.
And you're not back?
No, I'm back now.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever got kicked out.
But I got kicked out and then I got back in. And I think after I got back in, it did seem like the traffic there was different. And for what it's worth, before I got kicked out, I kind of unfollowed it, so I didn't see stuff as often. I feel like it's slowed. It's definitely slow. It's still just by the sheer size of the group, it's still way busier than our group. Except when somebody posts a meme about wife bad, then things really seem to take off for us.
I have noticed because I check in probably a couple times a week and see, hey, what's going on over here. Mm-hmm. I very rarely comment anymore, but compared to what it used to be. It barely exists anymore,
and I don't think I don't think that's bad because I do think the group's gone back to being
more mellow,
more mellow, and more constructive.
It's more mature. I think there used to be a really strong kind of troll element, and I think that came along with this very easy to stereotype sort of culture.
Yeah,
and I think that stereotype maybe by way of people being like, well, I don't want to be a stereotype, or people just maturing and growing up. Has dissolved in a way, so it's not a target for the trolls anymore. And it just seems like it's just all mellowed out,
I agree.
It's interesting. Maybe we'll see a fresh wave when we're good and old of oh great, here's the new praise and worship scene with all this gear that we can't agree with, and man, they're spending so much money.
Everything's got to come full circle. So in another,
you think it's gonna go back to ovations?
Another 10 I don't think it's gonna go all the way back to ovations. I think we're just gonna start seeing a lot of. It's gonna be a lot of people asking should I get a Taylor or Gibson or a Martin?
Here's what's going to happen.
Oh, this was the other thing I was just saying.
Listen. Here's what's going to happen. You can come back to your thought here in a second.
Not if I forget it.
Someone big is going to cover Heart of Worship.
Jack White.
No, like someone big in the praise and worship scene. And it's going to start the whole, we're getting back to the Heart of Worship vibe again. Like just one acoustic guitar, like no lights, no lasers, no fog machines. Like we're just people in a room just worshiping with the Heart of Worship song. And then it'll all start again. People are like, you know what this would sound good with? Like a little bit of drum. And then, you know what would sound good with this song? A little bit of bass. And they start bringing everything back in. People who don't know that song or don't know this scene, who have been sitting through all this and bearing with us, there was a song that came out that was called The Heart of Worship. And it was all about just getting back to the bare minimum, the bare core essentials, getting rid of all the glitz and glamour of everything. And here we are at the opposite of that song again.
Comparatively, the stuff that
we're getting back to the praise of worship.
The stuff that like
ovation guitars
instigated that song to begin with, is still like mellow compared to
sure, current. Totally.
No, what I was gonna say is the other thing with this that I think does factor in. We talked about David Hislop. I don't know.
He's gonna be so mad that you.
I know.
If you have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and you ever mispronounce something once, it means that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You should just give up.
If you mispronounce something, how dare you for not reaching out to that person or company to ask them how to pronounce their brand.
Right. Before you started talking about them when you didn't know that you were going to talk about them. Steve and I have things on our chests about completely other things.
So he is, I don't know if he's an artist for this company, but he definitely has a lot of pictures playing Veritas.
Sure. I mean, Veritas is one of those brands that is a huge, was a huge
they are
praise and worship brand.
I think that this is another thing that I think of as another nail in the coffin.
Oh, man.
It's all right. Someone's going to resurrect P-dub culture.
And it's going to be us.
No, I can't think of any like hot. It seemed like for a long time there was like a lot of like new product, hot product.
Right. Like what is the hot boutique praise and worship?
Duesenberg was around for a while because they were like the Tom Petty guitar and whatever. Then all of a sudden, praise and worship. Everybody had to have it. Veritas was kind of like that.
Yeah, I do remember the Duesenberg thing. Like it was like a year where everyone was like, "Oh man, I'm getting a doozy." They dropped a new Deuce. You guys gonna get it?
I saw someone today talking about how they were gonna get their Veritas Pro line came in and they're getting in and whatever, which is the Veritas that's made in the Reverend factory.
Right.
Apparently, only it's made in the Reverend factory, but then they charge you $150 to get it set up in the United States. I don't get it. Well,
that's what Reverend does. Is they set up domestically,
but I don't think they charge you for it, or maybe they like build it into the price. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I think about that. And I'm like, man, Duesenberg's kind of fallen off in terms of popularity. Veritas is still around, and then after that, I'm like, Fender, Gibson.
I mean, it's
all the old hat. Like there's new. I think the last new entry I can think of into that was like real hot in that circle was Jennings, and that was several years ago. That was a few years ago, you know. And so I think that is a thing that there isn't the gotta have. I think I feel like the last really gotta have product was maybe the brown amplification protein pedal. I can't think of, what else. People are freaking out about the freaking Big Sky Eternal Night Edition or whatever. Like, cool, you got a Big Sky and it's
the people
black.
Freaking out about that already had Big Skies.
They already have it.
They want to do a swap. They're not like, oh man, I've been waiting for the thing to push me over the edge. Finally, I can get a Big Sky.
I don't feel like there's been I feel like the last big like killer product is the HX Stomp.
Yeah.
And it's a great product. I have one. I like it.
I think, the last universal, like everyone feels like they got to have it thing in that scene is the HX Stomp. Did the HX Stomp kill praise and worship?
Let's call the coroner and say line 6 did it.
Let's make a gravestone for the thumbnail here. Praise and worship killed by HX.
Yeah.
Killed by Helix.
What would be the proud father, devoted son, killed by the Helix?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I think we've been talking about this long enough. I'm sure we've pissed off plenty of people who didn't want to hear us talk about church music for 25 minutes, and people who did want to hear us talk about church music and they're not happy about the way that we did it. You guys can all be angry at us and each other in the comment section below.
Let's do this ad.
Let's do an ad that was sent to us.
This ad was sent by Mark De Bruin.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to read it in Dutch.
Thank you.
Pinball Telecaster.
I almost expected you to read it in French.
Pinball guitar, Met Thema, vintage comic, Met Lecton, and just kidding. I'm too tired. I had a big client meeting today. Vintage comic themed pinball guitar with LED lights and functioning flipper, bolt on neck, basswood body.
I like to think that I have a functioning flipper.
What? Modern C-shaped maple neck, maple fretboard with some other things. Mark's comment on it is, this seems to be the basic €99 Harley Benton Telecaster, which means it's like $130.
Right.
So you're paying an extra €400 for the comic book finish, the LED lights, and the functioning flipper, which I have to admit I'm intrigued by. Worth the money, or more of a nudge to start your own fun modding project.
I don't know what functioning means. I'm assuming it means it flips for you.
Yeah.
I kind of wish it was a controller for something. Like if that was like a digital expression controller.
Or like, why isn't it just one of the pots? Yeah. I mean, I guess then it wouldn't
Or the
flip.
switch.
Oh, it could be like
a rotary
it could
switch?
Be a no, it should just be a kill switch, and you just flick
And
it.
you flick it.
It's like defaults to on, and then you flick it to off, and then it falls. I don't know.
I gotta say, I like this. I like the concept of a pinball. Didn't Fender do a pinball machine guitar, but it was made out of pinball machine parts or something like that?
I don't know. This feels like it should be the Elton John signature guitar. Oh, what the? Sorry, not Elton John. Should be the Pete Townsend signature
Pete Townsend.
guitar.
There you go. I was like, are you saying that because it's flashy and it has lights? Like, what are you talking
What song
about?
am I thinking of that's Elton John? Is there an Elton John song about pinball?
I don't think so. Pinball Wizard is the only pinball song I can think about. I mean, he plays by sense of smell. I mean, it's incredible. Did you just Google Elton John pinball song?
I am so confused. There is an Elton John version. It's written by Pete Townsend, performed by The Who and Tommy.
So Elton John was involved in the production of a version of it.
But in 1976, Elton John released a single on the Tommy soundtrack. What?
This sounds like a whole...
Oh, so Elton John does it in the film.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. You did make a connection there in your brain.
I'm not crazy. You're the one who's crazy.
All he wants is a Pepsi.
All I want is a Pepsi.
Come on.
Gave me a Coke earlier.
You know what? You went to their schools. You went to their churches. You went to their institutional learning facilities. It's not your fault, Steve. All you wanted was a Pepsi.
My fault.
We are so sidetracked at this point.
I don't know about 500 euros. I don't know about 500 squids. I think
there is a squid on the back.
I don't understand why this squid woman on the back is upside down.
Oh, it comes with a controller for the LEDs.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess
it's all right. I control the LEDs up above us with one of those controllers, and it's dead. It died on me. This
would also be better if all of these lights were like, I think Tezzy Switch makes an LED knob. If these were all LED knobs,
here's what I want.
Lights.
Here's what I want. I want this to be a smuggler's telly with a big route underneath the pickguard. I want a plexi pickguard.
Okay.
And I want there to be, the three-dimensional parts from a pinball machine inside underneath that pickguard with maybe a functioning like ball that can get shot around.
Bounces around all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, that would actually be pretty cool because it would add like an extra element of randomness if you.
And it's got the plunger on the back of the guitar, and you pull it and you let it go.
Oh, yeah, and I'm just thinking like if you're in one of those Shugazi bands that makes they make a lot of noise. They're always looking at their feet. That's why they're called Shugazi. Yeah. Oh, and that plunger.
You're mispronouncing shoegaze.
That plunger could be.
I thought you were saying that there was a new genre where people do like a fugazi mixed with a shoegaze sort of thing.
No. That plunger could be the where your strap connects.
All right, totally.
Your strap button. I like this idea.
I like it. I like it too.
I don't know how to make it happen because I'm not.
Oh, I'm not going to try to make it happen.
I'm not good with tools.
You know, like this doesn't seem to be any particular theme.
Should have been the Terminator
of pinball. Oh man, a Terminator pinball machine. That would have been cool. I'm trying to think of a pinball machine that I played as a kid that I'd want to see.
I played Terminator.
Represented.
It should just be the freaking Windows default.
Oh my gosh. The pixelated one from back in the day.
Was it it would never.
So I played on really old computers. So there was like a really simple blue pixelated pinball machine that had a little white.
Before my time.
Yeah. You're talking about like
the one that came with like the Windows 95 entertainment pack.
Right. I'd want an outer space theme, like a Flash Gordon, Gordon pinball machine,
like the Windows 95 entertainment pack pinball.
Was it themed like that?
It's an outer space theme, not Flash Gordon, but it was outer space.
Or like a Star Trek pinball machine.
Like there was a little thing where you could hit your ball into it, and it would like go in, and it was a black hole. It was like, oh, you landed in the black hole.
Sometimes I think about the fact that I'm an adult, and I have a house with space in it, and I have adult money that I could spend if I wanted to. Young me would be very disappointed that I don't at least own a pinball machine.
Dude, young you would be disappointed in a lot of things.
That's true.
Young you was like
I have space.
Young you's like, why aren't you a professional surfer, Ryan?
No, I never wanted to be a professional surfer.
Why aren't you a professional Albertson's bag boy, Ryan?
Oh my gosh. I could get a pinball machine if I wanted to.
You could.
I have places I could put it.
They're pretty expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And then you've got to do maintenance and stuff like that. When I was a kid,
DIY, baby.
A friend had a Frogger machine. And I was always so jealous. And it's like you could get any game system now and have all the games you want.
You need
but having the cabinet was so cool.
Do you remember the pizza parlor Miss Pac-Man table?
Yeah.
The 2-player Miss Pac-Man?
There's no reason we shouldn't be sitting at that right now.
That should be our desk.
Yeah.
Should be the 2-player. And we would just sit there like we would record the podcast while playing Miss Pac-Man. And every once in a while I'd get really silent because I'm like, I'm on level 6. Shut the hell up.
Someone's got to retrofit one of those to play regular games, and you can play 2-player with your friends and family at home. But there's not a lot of games that accept that format, huh? Where you're on the same screen.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. All right. Do we want to do a sponsor?
Yeah. This.
We didn't even decide if this is good or bad for the price. I'm going to say €500 or whatever. No. There's a Harley Benton under there. Who cares? You can do. I will say you can do this yourself.
This episode is brought to you by Elton John. This episode's actually
good gag, Steve. I'm glad we spent the time to do that.
Actually brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio.
That's right.
They're doing this. I'm not going to talk about their pedals. We talk about their pedals all the time. They're doing this Starby thing.
Starby.
I don't know what that's all about. Starby is an employee.
Neither of us know what it is. Let's talk about it.
Well, they're making like a series of YouTube videos.
All right.
About this guy Starby, who apparently was an employee, but also he was a purple Mylar balloon with a mustache.
Oh, I saw the balloon.
And they did like a trailer for it, and then they released another one where it's like Starby meets Jason Isbell and Jason Isbell's daughter. I don't know what's going on. This feels like it's leading up to a future product launch, like it should be. I don't know what that product
or it's leading up to a feature-length film. Ooh. A Hollywood blockbuster.
Well, the fact that the trailer was in one style and then the first Jason Isbell thing was was animated, now it makes me wonder if they're doing like if they're going to do like a 15-minute long mixed or they call it multi-artist project where each artist is going to get like to make their own 2-minute Starby video, and then they're going to put it all together to make one cohesive story. Anyway, go check it out, chaselessaudio.com.
The rock opera we've all been waiting for. The epic tale of Starby. The Mylar balloon.
Pinball Starby.
Everyone, go follow Chase Bliss on all social medias so you can stay up on this hot Starby story as it develops. You don't want to miss a moment of the Starby action. This is a crazy story we're breaking here, Steve.
Did you just come out as a Starby sexual? You said you want to know about that Starby action.
I'm not saying I'm opposed to the idea. If Starby calls me up and wants to go out for dinner, I'm not going to say no. I'm just saying.
All right, man, what's new?
I did that telethon.
You did a telethon.
I did a telethon. It was a lot of fun. I did a couple posts of it because I was trying to get people to go, check out the charity, which is Feeding America, and I think people thought it was maybe they didn't think it, but people acted like, "Oh, you're such a good guy for going and being part of a charity thing." And
except for the one guy that was like, "How dare you feed the homeless?"
Oh, you mean the Nazi, the actual Nazi that I actually had to block on YouTube? That guy, Steve?
That was weird.
The real Nazi who had content that was real Nazi content on YouTube. So anyways.
Yeah, I definitely did not see that coming.
Oh my gosh. So anyways, people were like, "Oh, you're such a good guy for doing this and that." Like, that's not the point of that. The point is, like, you go be a good person and check out this charity.
The point is contribute to my fundraiser.
It's not my fundraiser. It's their fundraiser. What I'm leading at is, like, I went. It was supposed to be a telethon. Mm-hmm. The telethon area that they set up in the warehouse, when I showed up, they're like, all the phone systems down here stopped working before like the cameras showed up. So we have people pretending to answer phones down here. And we're sending everyone else upstairs to answer the real phones in the office. I didn't get to be on.
I was confused because I saw you take a picture in an office next to a phone. I'm like, that is not the other picture.
No. So I was up in this office and I sat at a desk and I stared at a phone intently, and I had the script there, and I have like phone anxiety. So this was not a good thing for me to like donate my time to anyways. I'm sitting there staring at this phone, waiting for it to ring, and my anxiety's like off the charts. And it rang 3 times in like 45 minutes that I sat there. It was supposed to be half-hour shifts, but I was like, I gotta wait to see like if something's gonna happen. It rang 3 times. The first time I pick it up, I start to do my thing, and they just hung up.
What?
The second time I go to grab it as it's ringing, it stops ringing. Oh, great. The third time I pick it up, I do my whole thing. I'm like, this is it. I'm on a roll. I can hear them breathing. They're on the other end. I've got a live one. And he's like, "Oh, is Sam answering the phones?" And I knew which Sam he was talking about. He was talking about Sam, the cooking guy.
This was me calling.
And I didn't know that Sam was there yet because I hadn't seen him. And I was like, I don't know if he is, but if he is, like, the phone calls are being distributed randomly to, a phone bank, and the guy hung up on me.
Wow. You should have just answered. You should have just been like, yes.
Yes, I'm Sam. I should have answered as Sam.
So Sam is Sam, the cooking guy, local celebrity turned YouTube celebrity, a real YouTube celebrity, not fake YouTube celebrity.
He is about 30 times bigger than our channel.
I don't know how big his channel is. So.
Like 3 million.
Like 3 million?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's been around for a long time.
I've been watching him for like 20 years.
What's fun? So my wife's like, how crazy is it that like, well, she was saying like how we live in San Diego and there are like a lot of celebrities from San Diego, but like we've never run into one of them randomly and been like, hey, you're that guy.
Right.
I saw a dude from the local news in Target once, but he was like shopping with his kids. So
yeah, you didn't want to break that bubble and make it uncomfortable.
I think I saw John Foreman at a Billy Graham crusade.
Okay.
And besides that, I don't think I've ever run into anyone.
2 questions. Did he get saved? Did you get saved?
No. And so what we were talking about, I was telling my wife, I was like, if we went to Little Italy, you would probably run into Sam all the time.
Right.
Because he's running that like food hall down there.
But I want to say, like, I didn't just like twiddle my thumbs the rest of the time I was there. Like, I took a tour of the building, which was really impressive. Like, this is a charity that that I don't know if they still do it through New Vision, but they did food distribution through our church.
Yeah.
And they fed thousands of meals through just that church every week. And looking at their facility, like, I worked in grocery for 5 years. It's impressive. Like, they have a legit thing going on there. They are moving millions of meals out of that one building. And this is a national thing, the Feeding America thing. This was just Feeding San Diego. They're moving millions of meals out of just that one building. I got to spend some time packing boxes. The volunteers come, I guess, every day and pack boxes. So I did that for a while, and it felt like being a bagger again. Only I was making less than a minimum wage. Which in a way felt better. I guess it felt better than making a minimum wage, choosing to do it. But yeah, I really like that charity. I haven't seen anything from them where I've been like, oh man, I don't know what's going on here. They're feeding people. Food is going in people's bellies. Like, it's incredible. So that's my what's new. I did get to hang out with Sam the cooking guy. I did get to talk to him a bit, and he did comment on one of my YouTube videos. So
very cool. Very
that's
cool.
That brightened my day.
You got anything else new?
That's it.
That's it.
Do you want to tell me something new that I have?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the thing that you did, the other show that you were on.
Oh, we talked about that earlier.
Oh,
I was on the Effect Loop.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone go listen to that episode.
I'll put the link here anyway.
The Effects Loop. Go listen to it. We'll keep you in the loop in the guitar news community.
There you go.
It's something like that. It's a fun show. What's new with you?
What's new with me is I bought a pedal. This pedal.
What? That's crazy. Okay, what'd you get?
The pedal I bought used to dwell on the pedal I bought dwells on a great mountain. He cares little if men live or die. Better to be silent than to call his attention to you. He will send you dooms, not fortune. He is grim and loveless, but at birth he breathes power to strive and slay into a man's soul. What else shall men ask of the gods? I bought the Crom from Caroline Guitar Pedals. That was a quote from the Conan the Barbarian comic book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's on its way.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Eventually.
Steve bought a Caroline pedal.
Yeah.
It happens almost every day. A tale as old as time.
I like it. I like the way it sounds. I don't know how it's going to fit in with my P-Dubs rig. But I'll bring it over here for you because I think it's actually like I think it's a fuzz in the character of fuzzes that
just
you like.
stack it into stacked stereo delays and reverbs. It'll be praise and worship.
I'm definitely going to run it into some other fuzzes.
Yeah, to really help it bloom.
Yeah. No, it's like a very like so the thing is I don't know enough about fuzz to know like the different circuits. But it's kind of in that like 60s really big fuzzy fuzz sort of a thing.
The big fuzzy fuzz.
Like it's got like it's the Crom. It's got a doomy
right
kind of
I want to hear
character to it.
Maybe I'll love it.
Yeah.
Was it a limited run?
I don't know because so they sold out really quick, but a lot of people. So the one that I got was the Black Friday version, which is gray base, black paint. But the one that was in the demos was a black base, yellow paint. And a lot of people were like, what about that finish? So there's a rumor that additional runs might be coming in that finish.
Okay.
So you'll have a Black Friday finish and then kind of like, I think the blues was that way. There was a couple different finishes when they did that pedal. So I'm looking forward to getting that. The other thing I have is I showed this to you earlier. I was talking to I thought this was a lot of fun. I'll save this picture and send it to you so you can show it. But I was talking to one of my coworkers about this show. And he goes, "Oh, let me show you this guitar that I built with."
Oh yeah, this is fun.
I built with. I'm gonna send it to you somewhere over there.
Let's go into the iPad. That's not where I want it.
Oh no!
Put it in in
Put it in the
put it in the
drive.
Google Drive so that I can
Okay.
grab it when I edit.
So I apparently just sent it to my other iPad. To my
No,
iPad.
this is fun. Like you showed this to me earlier.
It was like a father-son project that is one of my coworkers. He said that he's not a guitar player, but he does know how to paint, and he does know how to do like soldering and stuff. So he helped his son build his guitar, and it's basically. I thought this was fun. The fact that it's like two different references.
No, I like this
thought
a
was
lot.
really fun.
Yeah.
But it is a
It's an Ibanez
it's
Gem.
an Ibanez Gem,
that's
which
painted,
is
painted like the Van Halen guitar.
which
with
is
the
like the
stripes.
Steve Vai guitar, right?
Yeah.
But it's the Van Halen stripes.
And they even put the quarter on there.
Corner. So he said he actually routed that down so it would fit in like without protruding.
That's
so
fun.
It's kind of like cut down. So they did some work and research to make this happen, and
I kind of want to know exactly
so-
what's going on with that Floyd Rose because I don't think I've ever seen one that had silver micro adjustment screws on it.
I don't know. And it was funny because he was talking to me. He goes, "Yeah, I guess it has like humbuckers or something. I don't know." He's like,
So he really doesn't know anything about
he's
guitars.
like literally. I guess they just got a diagram, and his son was like, or his stepson was like, gave him the diagram, and he just wired it up.
Nice.
So it's cool. Sometimes it's funny because I was like, they're like, "Oh, you have a podcast," and I was like, "Yeah."
Sorry.
It's kind of embarrassing. They're like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, have you ever thought about this? Do you feel like doing what we do here on a Thursday night was like less embarrassing when it was like 300 people listening and you're like, oh, this is
Right.
just this thing that I do for fun versus like, yeah,
It's more weird now that it's like
kind
thousands of people.
I'm kind of involved in like an internet thing.
It's kind of a bigger
Anyway.
deal than it should be. It does feel a little weirdly embarrassing. Like when I was at the I mean, first of all, I got invited to a telethon, which
Yeah.
felt weird. Like I don't feel like a local celebrity. I not only got to meet Sam the cooking guy, I got to meet an Olympian, a water polo
Was he
Olympian.
tall?
He was tall. He was built like a water polo guy. He was a big boy. It felt very embarrassing to me, and it made me feel really awkward because he was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I kind of like gave a general rundown of why I was there, and he started asking me all these questions about being like a YouTube guy, and it was like, no, my thing's not interesting. Let's talk about you being let's talk about you being a 4-time Olympian.
Let's talk about the fact that like you are probably in the top 0.00001% of all people in your chosen profession.
Right. Like, and he wanted to know what it's like.
I play guitar badly in front of a camera.
Yeah. He was like, "Are you good at guitar?" I was like, "No." Like, I don't know why I'm here either. It did feel embarrassing and weird and cringy in a way. Like what? And like when you meet people and you're like, you tell them about this stuff and they're like, "Oh, what's it called so I can go find it?" And it's like, "Well, do you care about guitar gear at all?" They're like, "No, not really." I'm like, then don't try to find it. Like, there's no reason.
My boss. So this is I guess this is goals now for some future NAMM. As much as we crack on him, I need to meet Rick Beato.
Sure.
Because
I'm sure he's a great guy.
Because my boss is like a big Rick Beato. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd say he's a big Rick Beato fan, but he's like always like, "Oh, did you see the new Rick video? Did you see the new Rick Beato video?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And the thing is I just don't really watch music YouTube in general.
Sure.
Like I just don't really watch YouTube. Ever since they lost the Karate Kid to Netflix.
Damn it, Steve. How come I'm not getting your clicks? If anyone's clicks, I should be getting
Dude,
your
I'm
clicks.
in like most of your premieres. Get off my back. Even the ones that don't co-star me.
No, I meant like the affiliate links, Steve.
I actually just bought a pedal on Sweetwater with one of your
you
affiliate
really?
links. Yeah. I could have bought on Amazon. I probably should have asked you which one got more money.
Sweetwater is always best. Always.
I figured it was, and also hopefully it ships. The only upside I would have had to Amazon is that it would have shipped faster because I need to receive it so I can ship it out again because it's a thing anyway.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Should we do the last sponsor and then do the last 2 ads?
Yeah, this next sponsor is Big Ear Pedals.
They're working on something.
I'm holding one.
I keep getting little hints that
Are they?
they're working on something.
Is it?
What is that?
Is, I think, still being worked on.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. They're working. You're making me edit this, Steve. Content removed. Go get.
There's no timeline on it.
Go get on all of Big Ear's social media so that when it happens, you can find out what Steve was trying to leak.
Wait, is that actually?
No, it's not.
I didn't think so.
There's a whole other thing that they're working on, and you leaked the other thing that they're working on.
I didn't think it was still being worked on.
Steve is double leaking.
Oh, dude.
He's leaking from two holes tonight.
I had that butt surgery like 6 months ago. So, yeah, it's still leaking. Thanks for the reminder.
Do we need to talk about piss some more, like last episode?
Go to biggerpedals.com.
This is still a sponsorship.
Get on the mailing list. Speaking of Bigger Pedals,
Thank you, Big Ear.
This next ad was sent by Grant Wilson.
I'm so sorry for everything that's just happened.
Are you actually going to have to edit all that out?
Yeah.
Dang. What? This is $100?
Yeah.
Dude, this is cool.
If this is still up, by the way, if you live in the Bay Area, hit up Grant on wherever you can find him and ask him if you can go pick it up for him because he wants it.
This is a Yamaha.
If you will pick it up for him and ship it to him, I'm sure he'll work something out with you that'll make it worth your while.
This is a Yamaha Super Bass 600.
Have you ever seen one of these?
I have not.
It looks really wild.
Yeah, it looks very, very cool.
Like the shape is kind of like it wants to be offset, but it isn't. It is asymmetrical in a way that most guitar shapes are not asymmetrical.
It's weird in a good way.
Yeah, the top bout of it, the top horn in your armrest area is wider than the bottom bout and bottom horn, but not dramatically, just enough to throw off your eye a little bit. It's basically a jazz bass. The headstock shape, I've never seen this headstock shape. It's super freaky.
I don't think it's available.
Oh, it's got to be gone. I actually messaged the guy because I was trying to procure it to send it to Grant. I was like, what would it take to get you to ship it? Because he said local only.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, and I threw some money out there. It's like, if I paid you this much money, would you be able to ship it? And he never wrote me back. I was trying, Grant. I was trying to get you. Maybe Grant figured it out and was able to get it.
Hopefully.
He hasn't updated us on it, but...
This is really cool. This is I don't know when this was actually made, but this seems like a very 70s design.
I'm getting a bit of an 80s vibe from it.
Yeah, 80s from it, huh?
Yeah, something about the little metal pointers on the knobs and those speed knobs with the rubber grip on it, that feels 80s to me. Like if it was 70s, it would have a wood racing stripe down the middle of the guitar.
Well, I'm just thinking
it would have like the sandwiched wood sort of thing.
This like natural, this black and natural thing feels like a very like Yngwie color combo.
Like every part of it looks particular to this guitar. The bridge is particular to this guitar. The pickups are particular to this guitar. Of course, the pick guard and the body shape and the headstock. I mean, those are pretty beefy looking tuners. I mean, I don't look at bass tuners a lot.
They look good.
They look good?
Yeah. They look solid.
This looks like a legit bass to me. I hope someone did grab it for $100. It has some scuffs on the back of the neck.
That's okay.
I think Grant said that he was finding them in pristine condition around for like 500, 600.
Not bad.
So 100 is definitely a deal.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if you like the look of this, they're out there. You can get them for money that's not extreme. If it was a wild color, I'd personally be into it. It's kind of like a tan M&M sort of vibe. Remember tan M&Ms?
Yeah. Yeah. You had the tan M&M and the brown M&M.
As far as I'm concerned, generations don't exist. There's no boomers. There's no Gen X. There's no Zoomers. There's no Generation Y. There's people who are alive for tan M&M, and there's people who weren't.
Dude, do you remember when green Skittles were lime?
Were they a different flavor? I thought all Skittles were the same flavor.
There's a rumor that that's the case. I refuse to believe it.
You are a mono flavor denier.
Yeah. Well, so the whole thing is that like people say that you're not actually tasting a difference, you're smelling a difference.
Oh.
And because your sense of smell.
So you think they have a different smell? You think all those Skittles in a bag retain a unique smell?
I don't know, man. Basically, the thing is the mono flavor people are trying to convince you that you see the color purple and you go, that's a mother flipping grape. And then you eat it and you go, yup, it's a grape.
That's grape, all right. I've never, like, to me, Skittles just taste like
sugar.
Crunchy sugar.
I mean, at the end of the day, the best way to eat Skittles is like a handful at a time. So
Right.
I don't really care what the flavor is.
I kind of wish M&M's would re-release the tan M&M.
If you just like, if you put the brown one in your mouth and just kind of like let it hang out there for a while and then you take it out, it's kind of tan.
You think about a tan M&M and it sounds kind of grody in your mind, but you know what color M&M has always kind of seemed grody to me?
Blue?
Red.
Really?
The red M&Ms have always been like, oh man, that's kind of grody. Like I don't know what it is about it. But the tan, like it's chocolate. It's supposed to be different colors of brown. I miss it. I actually do miss the tan M&M. So anyways, this base isn't up anymore, but I think it's fun to look at it. And, you know, maybe someone out there will want this base now and find other versions of it used somewhere, somehow. So it's cool looking. That's for sure.
Yeah. So
it would be a good partner to one of those Yamaha SGV 300s or 500s or whatever that I want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's kind of that, it's hinting at that shape, but isn't that shape.
And it's a bass.
It's a super bass.
If you've made it this far.
Isn't there a super bass song?
Yeah, by Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, that's what this bass is for playing. The super bass song by Nicki Minaj. Don't pull up a clip of it, Steve.
We're going to get cease.
It would take you like a minute and a half to find it. And then you'd be sitting here with the phone speaker playing it, and we're like,
we're going to get cease and desisted by Elton John and Nicki Minaj in the same episode.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to edit this episode because of you, Steve.
This is the part of the show where we talk about the people who made it this far to the 57-ish minute mark.
Some people.
And we thank them.
Thank you.
For supporting us this week at the $1 level. We have Mosler. I don't know. I should have asked him. How to pronounce his name before
you should have done your due diligence, Steve.
And Andrew Smith.
You look like a damn fool now.
If you want to, well, I just don't understand the power that I wield over the gear community. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumpcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can put money into the pockets of these shenanigan actors. And also support this green wall over here.
Oh, they don't know about that, Steve.
I know, but there's a green wall over here that you can't see. And you can help pay for all those pedals that we're shipping out. Every time I ship out one of those, Ryan has to reimburse me like $350.
Yep, and you're taking a fresh batch home tonight.
Yep.
And you might be coming back for our Friendsgiving on Saturday.
If I can remember a tote on Saturday, then I will.
You know I have empty boxes here.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, after I take this tote, I probably... Yeah, anyway.
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. But people have been receiving their Azores.
Yeah.
So everyone else who hasn't, wait until we say we're all done. And if you didn't get one and you sent us money, if you sent it in an envelope, we will eventually open all the envelopes and return all the cash that you might have sent or checks that you might have sent. And we will include stickers going back to the people who did take a gamble and mail us cash. We're going to spend postage money to return that cash to you. Everyone who didn't get a pedal and maybe sent us PayPal money to cover shipping, email us when this is all over and we will refund you.
We're thinking about doing a live stream for episode 420 where we open all of the mail. Let us know if you think that's a good idea.
Steve is thinking about that. There's probably 2,000, maybe 3,000 letters over there, Steve.
Yeah, it'll only take us longest YouTube. What's the longest YouTube live stream?
You mean open? We'll open it, but we won't be able to read everything. Like, what are you talking?
Did I say read? I just want to know if there's money inside.
We should, divide it from a money pile and a no money pile.
Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway.
And know who our real fans are. Yeah, at my family's Thanksgiving, I brought out the letters that had already been opened.
Yeah.
And my family was getting a huge kick out of going through them and reading them. And there were some tearjerkers in there.
No, there
some
were
people writing some really nice letters.
There's a lot. It's surprising. It's kind of crazy to me. And I do, honestly, I wish, and logistically, it was just not really feasible. But there's a few of the letters that I opened up in the 2 batches that I've sent out that were, music instructors who are like, hey, I teach guitar to like 2 other kids. And, again, like I think your original thought was that we'd get like 50 letters.
Right.
I'd like figured.
I thought max 100.
I thought we'd get like maybe 500, but between the reverbs and like your stacks of affordable pedals, like we could get through it.
There's been people who are like, oh, you should have known you have this many subscribers.
We're dumb.
Every industry person that I've talked to about this has been like, that is an incredible return.
You guys are crazy.
A giveaway. It is incredibly rare for people to click a link and put in an email address to enter a giveaway, let alone write something out on a postcard, a letter, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and go through all those steps to enter something to get a $20 reverb pedal that you might not even like. It's bonkers. It's completely bonkers.
So the 2 things I've seen is, one, I've been surprised by opening stuff up and seeing, what seemed like a good number of like music teachers. And again, I if we could do this all differently, we would do it differently. But I'm opening letters a lot of times because like there's an address on the front but no name, or I just can't read it, and I'm hoping they typed it on the inside, or for whatever. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm a music teacher, I teach 3 kids, is there any way you could send me 4 of these pedals, so I could give one to each one of my students? Back
when we thought that we were going to be giving multiples away.
And then the other thing that I found surprising is and I don't know what a good number would be. A good number would be like 50%, right?
Sure.
But I think I'm kind of surprised at the number, even though it's probably only like 5% at the most, of women who sent letters. You
know what? My wife and I were noticing that when we were dividing everything up by zip code for the giveaway section. My wife was like, "There's been a bunch of ladies in here."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. It's wild, right? Like it's not a 50-50 split, but there was way more than I was anticipating. For sure.
I mean, for what it's worth, like 1 was way more than I was anticipating.
Steve, are you a sexist?
No, I have very low expectations for the guitar community at large.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, this last ad was sent by Donald Straighton.
It's just for a Pug guitar.
It says Pugs Not Drugs.
That was my title. The ad doesn't say that.
This is a Start One Pug. Donald says.
Oh, you're reading the. I was like,
Donald says.
Does he have another photo? You're reading the paper tag in the sound hole.
Yeah, Donald says, give the dog a tone.
Oh my gosh.
This surely shouldn't be allowed. It says it's a start tone.
Star tone.
Star tone. I just kept on to read that start one. Guitar. I want to know, is this the kind of thing where is this a stock photo of a Pug, or did somebody say like, hey, I want
put my Pug on there.
Put my Pug on a guitar. This is listed for 30 squid in Cumnock, Scotland.
Is that the squid symbol or is that the pound symbol?
That's a squid is a pound.
They're the same thing.
Squid is a pound.
You learn something new about European currency every day.
It's because the average squid weighs 1 pound. Therefore,
that can't be true.
The squid and the pound are the same unit.
You're making that up.
No, it's true.
That can't be true. I don't believe it.
Well, the first problem is that they're not called squids. So yes, I had made it all up.
I kind of like this. Like, it's clearly like a cheap classical style acoustic guitar, and there's clearly some company out there that will just full size print whatever photo you send to them on a classical guitar.
I hope that's the case.
I kind of like how huge it is. Like, it is a gigantic close-up picture of a pug's face. And now that I know this exists, I kind of want to make my own custom guitar. I don't know what I would put on it. Maybe my own face. That would be so stupid. But like, what would you have? You have cat.
I have a cat.
You have cat, not
I have
cats.
a cat. I had cats. Now I just have a cat.
You just have cat now. Would you put your cat on a guitar?
No.
I've got goldfish. Maybe I'll
But
put...
technically it's my wife's cat, so there's that.
This is wife's cat, so there's that.
Cat.
I don't know. I just thought this was funny. Give the dog a tone, 30 squids, 3/4 size classical guitar. Perfect for the pug lover in your life.
Yeah, perfect for a T-bone walker.
If you were going to pick a dog, would you do a pug?
I do think that this pug has the perfect face for a
It
guitar.
works weirdly, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something like it's staring at you with those bug eyes, and it's got this face like it's drawing me in. It's the right picture. I would want that horse from the that QVC bit, that QVC YouTube clip of the guy who's looking at a butterfly, but he sees a horse. And he's like, look at this beautiful horse. Look at his flowing mane and tail. Look at this beautiful horse running through. And he's clearly looking at a giant picture of a butterfly. So I'd want that giant
It's
picture.
like a TV. He's like,
Yeah.
trying to sell a TV.
It's a classic YouTube
I don't know
clip.
if I've seen it.
Well, don't look it up now. But,
Let's watch it now.
you know, old time YouTubers and internet people like me know what I'm talking about. Sounds like you got a bad connection on your phone. All right, tell us about the song, Steve. Sorry, this last ad kind of flopped. It kind of lost the energy on this pug. The pug sucked all the energy out of the room. I'm sorry. We won't have pugs on the
did it
show
go?
again. I promise you, no more pugs from now on. Did you delete the email? We had some really good songs the last 2 weeks. They're going to be hard to follow.
All right, this song was sent by Adam Iniguez. Hey guys, here's a song from our album. Now that's what I call surf. The band name is for the project. The band name for the project is Shimmy Shindig. Some friends and I made this song, among others, during quarantine last year. We sent each other tracks over email, recorded at home in GarageBand. This project is what kept me sane last year. It's a 90s cover album, but in the style of surf rock. I've been a fan of your channel for a while as well. It's the reason I have a Surfy Bear. You've sold a lot of Surfy Bears, man.
I wonder how many.
I hope you guys dig this tune. Here's a link to our Bandcamp where you can get a CD or a download.
I haven't heard anyone be like, you convinced me to buy a Surfy Bear and it was a mistake. Damn you. Everyone is always like, oh, I bought a Surfy Bear. Thank you.
We are also streaming on a streaming service. I think I have to move this out of trash. I did accidentally delete it, but I'm going to find it right now, and then hopefully it will let me. Boom!
We need a new cable, don't we?
Said this is a cover album, but I don't know what this is yet.
You can really hear the drip from that Surfy Bear on
Yeah.
there. Like he is pushing that drip hard.
Okay, this album also has. Now I gotta look. Basket Case, Dreams,
No.
Torn, Always Be My Baby, Kiss from a Rose, All My Life.
What?
Say You'll Be There. Oh my gosh!
Make a note to put a link to the album.
Black Hole Sun.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hear all this.
I always link to the album. Black Hole Sun, My Boo, Oh my God, What's Up? Pony, of course, Pony. And I don't want to miss a thing.
Oh, that's too good.
Now that's what I call Surf delivers the biggest hits of the 90s like you've never heard them before. Just called out a 1-800-SURF-90s. That's 1-800-SURF-90S. They'll tell you how you, with one easy payment of $9.99, you'll be surfing the 90s. Also available on select streaming music providers. It is on Spotify.
Right. That's too good. Man, we've been getting some good songs sent to us, guys.
Oh my God. Look at
That's great art. All right. Bye, everyone.
Stay grounded.